Hello, welcome to my presentation for my instruction project. I've chosen Snap-on's Level 5 Tool Control System. My name's TJ Manolas. We're going to start with, this is an inventory control system, and part of it is data entry. A big portion of it was data entry and getting it set up, but the rest of it is just user applicability. And so these instructions will cover the general operating procedures and kind of a quick guide for working this system. First of all, we're going to start with some data entry. The first thing you're going to come across when you're an operator is inputting new people into the system. So when you have a new person come up to you, you press F4 on the keyboard and you're going to hear the prompt. And it's going to give you a window here, and you're going to have an opportunity to scan their employee ID card. If they don't have their employee ID card, you can type in their employee number or student number from there. Once you get all that entered, I'm just going to do a generic one for an example. And so once you get all that entered, press enter. You can use the handheld scanner to scan the thing, or you can use the keypad to strike in the actual number.
New employee.
The new employee prompt takes you to this other window where you type in the new employee's name. We're going to do John Doe. Once you type that in, press save on the touch screen, and then you're going to want to hit print. And when you print this employee barcode out and the label, you're going to want to attach it to the tool room agreement that the employee has signed, and then file the tool room agreement in their box. We're going to use John Doe as our subject today. So after you have gotten him in the system, now you're going to want to explore inputting new tools or new consumables into the system. The system will track inventory of tools on hand, consumables on hand, and give you reorder prompts when that is necessary. So in order to input a new tool or consumable, you will type or touch F3 on the keyboard.
New tool.
The new tool prompt will show up. You can see up here the parent barcode number is at 700. We use 240 or 700 for 240 for tools, 700 for consumables. So first we're going to do 240 for tool, and then say we're going to do a hammer as our tool. Storage location, you can pick the storage location wherever it's going to be in the tool room. We're going to want to enter that. Part number, if you have a part number, you're going to want to enter that. Tools have the ability, and consumables have the ability to be separate. They have their own barcode, or you can have multiple tools with the same barcode. So this one, we're going to do multiple tools with this. We're just going to do normal, just so that it has its own barcode. So that being said, we're not going to click anything here. If you know the cost, you can input the cost. We don't know the cost just for now. And then you're going to hit print. It's going to prompt how many copies do you want to print. One is sufficient for now, so we'll hit print, and it'll spit out on the brother printer. Now, in order to do a consumable,
new tool,
you hit the F3 again. Type in 700 for your consumable. We're going to do spray paint as our consumable. We'll use the same storage location, even though it's probably going to be stored in a different location. If you know the part number, enter the part number. Now, the rest of this can be done with tools that have the same barcode where there's a bunch of them. So let's just say we want to issue multiple items with a single scan. So yes, we want to do that. So we'll click that box. Yes, we want multiple items with the same barcode. So yeah, we're going to have that. Since this is a consumable, we're going to click the no turn in. Now, if this was a tool, we would leave that one blank. Let's say we have 5 of them on hand, and if you know the cost, you're going to enter that. Max in stock with consumables, this is one you're going to want to enter. So you're going to have 5 there, and then you're also going to want to set your reorder quantity, because this will give the prompts of when to reorder. That way the attendant in the tool room doesn't have to track that mentally or by some other means. So for this one, we're going to go 2. Sold as, it can be each, it can be, since this is spray paint, we'll go by the can. It can be by the box, the case, however you want to quantify sold as. Once you get all that, entered, you're going to print. We only want one copy, and so then that'll print that out. Next, we'll move into tool check-in and check-out. Alright, we have our John Doe comes up to you and wants to check out a hammer. He says, I'd like to check out a hammer. So you scan his employee barcode, and you'll get the employee prompt. And he says a hammer. So, with that, you're going to scan the hammer.
Issue.
And the issue symbolizes turned in. Or, no, issued out to him. So, since that's issued out to him, you can see down here, in this window down here, this is where it signifies that he checked that out. Next, he comes up and he says he wants a can of spray paint. So you're going to scan him again.
Employee.
That puts him up in the box here. And then you're going to scan the spray paint barcode.
Quantity.
It's going to ask you for a quantity because there's multiple of those with the single barcode. You can enter the quantity either with the keyboard or with the wireless scanner. I'm going to use the wireless scanner, so I'm going to type in 1 on the wireless scanner, and then I'm going to use the green button to issue it out. Issue means it's issued. Now, in order to turn it back in, John Doe will have to scan his barcode to turn it back in, but as we can see, he's already up here on the screen, so he doesn't need to scan it. So, he is going to scan out, he's going to bring back his hammer, so you scan the hammer, and that turns in his hammer. Now, since he's used a can of spray paint, he checked that out, right? Well, since it's a consumable, it doesn't appear down here. But if he were to only use the partial can of spray paint and wanted to bring back the rest of it, you would scan the spray paint barcode, ask for a quantity. Now, you can either use the handheld remote or the keyboard for this. Enter F2 on the handheld remote. So F2 signifies a negative number. Enter the quantity that he checked out. That's coming back, so that's 1 on this one. And then the green button turns it back in, and that goes back into inventory. As you can see over here in the right hand portion where the tool is, or the consumable portion here, you still put 5 back in stock there. So as he's going, now let's put it back in where John has checked out both his hammer and his spray paint can.
Issue.
So there goes his hammer.
Quantity.
Here goes his spray paint.
Issue.
And you can see here he's got his hammer and his spray paint. And the spray paint you can see over here in this portion. Now we're down to 4 and in stock. Now say another person comes in and checks stuff out.
Employee.
And we're just going to use me. And you can see here, down here, I already have an extension cord out that I'm using. Well, if John brings back his hammer and his spray paint and wants to check them back in, I don't necessarily have to check his barcode. I can scan the hammer.
Item was issued to a different employee.
And that prompt says here, it's only asking, do you want to turn that in? And since he is turning it in, we say yes. Now, if we didn't want to turn it back in, we could say no, and it would remain checked out to John Doe. Now say he brings back spray paint. Well, since it's a consumable, it doesn't matter who brings it back. So we would type in our negative, our F2, our 1, and then our green button. That would turn it in. Now, if John were to, well, let's check.
Employee.
Here with John, we're going to check out a tool that has multiple tools with the same barcode.
Enter quantity.
And it's a gear puller. So if I'm going to put me back up on the screen.
Employee.
Now, if John wanted to check something back in, and he brought that gear puller back, all I'd have to do is scan the barcode on the gear puller.
Enter quantity.
Enter the quantity coming back, so that's -1.
Make selection.
Now this prompt, make selection, tells me how many people have that specific tool out. So right here it's just indicating John has one out, and he only has 1. Now if Mary and Gary and his other classmates each had a gear puller out, then they would be listed there, and so I'd have to select who's actually turning it in. Since John's the only one, I select turn the item in, and it's turned in. Now if he didn't want to turn it back in, I could scan done, and it wouldn't turn it in for him. But we want to turn it back in, and so we click turn in. There are several prompts that happen, as you've noticed here. the new tool prompt was identified as we saw by pressing F3. That identifies a new tool. New tool can also be prompted by a partial scan of a barcode, in which case you probably didn't want that one as a new tool, so you would hit cancel up here in this section here. You would hit the cancel button and that would clear it. Sometimes everything has a barcode. Everything you buy from a store has a barcode, and so sometimes people scan that barcode that was already on the tool or the consumable, and that's not in the system. And so, or sometimes it is. But if you ever wanted to check, you would scan that barcode, and it would say new tool. If it's a new tool and you didn't want to add it to the system, you press cancel. Another time new tool pops up is when either on the keyboard or on the remote a number or letter is typed, and then you scan another barcode, and then that will prompt new tool, because those pre-letters or numbers that were already typed in up here in this box are what will signify a new tool, and the computer just doesn't recognize that number. Another prompt that will show up, I'll try and engage this one, is attention, and we're going to hear that when you employees are allowed to check out 7 tools at a time. When they have more than 7, that's when it gives the attention prompt. And so here I'll check out 7 items.
Enter quantity. Issue.
1 gear puller.
Issue.
A mag timer.
Issue.
An air gun.
Issue.
A hammer.
Issue.
A party hat.
Issue.
A compression tester.
Enter quantity. Issue.
Attention.
There's an air nozzle, and you hear the attention. And so at the 8th thing, that's when it starts to really notice that, hey, this person shouldn't be checking any more out, and gives you the attention prompt. And so, and every time you issue someone out, something extra out to this person, it will always give the attention. Now, when you go to turn things back in, since you're more than 7, it will also say attention. But you just need to check in this box here down below the employee name. Make sure that it is actually turning things back in. So here, we'll turn a hammer back in.
Turn in.
And it gave you a turn in because now you're below 7. If I had been above 7, it would have given me the attention prompt. Attention will also happen when you have maxed out your quantity that you're checking out as for your reorder quantity. So it's just an indicator that it's time to reorder another tool, or reorder the supplies to get back up, get your quantity and your stock back up. Attention will also happen when you scan a barcode. So say I scan a can of spray paint,
Enter quantity.
and it asks me for a quantity, and I enter 6, but knowing that I only have 5 on hand. If I were to enter 6 and press enter,
Attention.
attention happens, and you get this prompt where you're trying to issue 6 but you only have 5. Now sometimes it happens just because you don't know how many you have on hand. Sometimes this will happen when you get the enter quantity box and you accidentally scan a barcode. Well, the barcode number is obviously going to be more than you have on quantity on hand, and it'll give you that prompt. Just press OK, and nothing was really issued, and then you get to try again. So if you wanted to enter spray paint
Enter quantity.
and you wanted all 5 cans, you would click 5 and then enter,
Issue.
and it checked out all 5 of them to you, but the attention was because you're down to your reorder quantity. It's time to reorder. As far as the turn in and check out, whenever you get the enter quantity box or prompt, negative numbers turn tools in, positive numbers check tools out. And that being said, I think that will be the biggest help to those using this system, and I hope this was helpful.